We have so much to think about in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. After 18 films, after 10 years, we have reached the point that we've been building up to this whole time, Infinity War. So what is going to happen in Infinity War? There are so many characters to account for, to worry about if they're going to make it or not. There will be superhero deaths in this. And I mean, I don't know that for sure. This is, by the way, all of this is fan opinion. It's kind of based on things we already know about the series, about the movies, about the meta of the movies even. And I wanted to do something kind of special. Since we know characters will die in this movie, and if they don't, that's a very weak thing to do. You probably need to kill someone at this point because there needs to be stakes. I've created a Marvel Avengers Dead Pool. And by that, I don't mean Deadpool the character. I mean the way in which he got his name. So that is the most likely to die to the most least likely to die. The least likely to die. There we go. Those are the words. I made a little chart here. I don't know if you can see it, but we're going to do a better version of this and have a visual of each of the characters and their likelihood to die. I have different categories, which are will for sure live, low risk, toss up, high risk, dead, and out, but not dead. Let's get to it. Okay, so Tony Stark is the one who started it all. He's not the first Avenger, but I think he's basically the leader. He's been such a linchpin for this. He's done 3 Iron Man movies. He's been the center of the Avengers movies. He's become kind of a mentor to the spectacular Spider-Man. I think he might be done. He is the only one I put in the category of out, but not dead. I see him taking over more of a supervisor role, but here's the thing. They've had Robert Downey Jr. for this long. He's expensive to keep around, and he's probably reached near the end of his contract, so I don't see him being the linchpin anymore. We are moving on to phase 3. There are new characters who are going to take over. War Machine, I put him in high risk. Here's why. He has been around for quite some time under the tutelage of Tony Stark. However, he is not going to get his own solo film. He's already been hurt before. Again, I see him as an extension of Tony because of the fact that he's not going to get his own movie. And I do think there needs to be a body count here. He has high risk. I didn't put him in the dead group though. So I would worry about him just a little bit. Sorry, Don Cheadle. Pepper Potts is on my list as for sure dead, and here's why I think that. In the trailer, we have different scenes. You can kind of break it down and figure out what different parts are. There's an orange background scene with Tony Stark, and he's sobbing. He's inconsolable. I think he's on an alien planet. I don't know what it is. It might be Xandar, which is the planet from Guardians of the Galaxy, Volume 1, if you may remember. He's miserable. Something's happened. Something has broken his heart. I would say Pepper. There's nothing left for her to do. She's not going to get, there's no reason for her to be around anymore. She has always served as the emotional stakes for Tony, and therefore, I think she's dead. I put him in low risk. I don't think we're going to see the end of Hulk, and that's for reasons that are mostly in the meta. We have Mark Ruffalo as the Hulk. He is the 3rd actor to play the Hulk. I think it would be very unwise to mess it up again or throw him out again. I think Mark Ruffalo has done a great job as Bruce Banner, and I've really enjoyed what he's brought to the series. I don't think at this point we could see losing him, perhaps for the stakes he also has with the other characters, perhaps the role he plays as the smart man, but also this brute force. And there's also a lot of other things the Hulk can do. There's a lot of Hulk stories that haven't been told. There's nothing that I know of right now for a solo movie for him, but I wouldn't leave it as something that wouldn't happen ever. Scarlett Johansson is one of the few of the first string squad of the Avengers who has never gotten her own movie. She's one that people have clamored to get a movie. Why isn't there a Black Widow movie? Why don't we have this for her? Why doesn't Natasha get this while the other characters get this? However, Scarlett Johansson is very expensive. So I'm not sure where we're gonna go with this. She's not going to be a future mainstay character so much as Captain Marvel per se. I put her in toss-up. I really don't know which way they're gonna go with her. On an opposite note, Hawkeye, I think, has a high risk of being killed. I mean, they've already kind of faked us out on it before. I thought he should have been killed in the second Avengers movie. Instead, he lived for some reason. He has too many stakes. He has that family. He has the farm. He has no plans for a solo film. I think he's very high risk. And if we lost him, it would be sad, but we'd get over it. Thor! Thor, you saw in the trailer. The trailer was full of circles, and there's one at one point where Thor is using all of his strength to hold together two circles in a larger circle. Circles! Taika Waititi has expressed that he wants the Thor Ragnarok movie to be its own trilogy, to not just be, Thor 3, but a new Thor series. And looking at the box office numbers, he might get it. People love Thor Ragnarok. I think it's the best of the Thor movies, and how often does it happen that the third of three is the best one? I think there's going to be a lot more from the character in the series. He's also the linchpin that connects to the Guardians. I think Thor will probably be around some more. I wouldn't worry about Thor at all. Actually, I'm so unworried about him, I put him in the will for sure live category. Loki has been in so many films. He's been in 3 Thor films and 2 Avengers films. He's been a big part of this series. However, Tom Hiddleston probably wants to do other things at this point. He's been around for a long time. We do see Loki handing off the Tesseract to someone. I think you can guess who in the trailer. I put Loki as high risk. I don't know how much more of him we're gonna get. Captain America, Steve Rogers. Okay, he's the first Avenger, as evidenced by his movie, Captain America, the First Avenger. He's been around for a while. He, very much like Tony Stark, has had 3 of his own movies and has been a central Avenger. However, there's a few other things going on with him. Chris Evans has been a part of this for a long time. I'm not sure exactly the details of his contract, but I can't imagine it going on for an inordinate number of films longer. I also think that his story arc of, first starting as like the weakling and becoming this big strong guy, and Peggy and Bucky and all of these ancillary characters around Captain America, I think his arc has been great. I think it pretty much has concluded as of Civil War. He is more of a mentor figure at this point. We now see him beardful, get that man a shield. I think at this point, Captain America could make a stand on, on his morals that he's expressed specifically in Civil War, that sometimes diverge. He has been keeping certain Avengers undercover as of that division, and I think this would serve as a great time to end with Captain America. I put him on the dead list. That's controversial, but I think he will die. Next we have, I want to call him Bucky always, but he's the Winter Soldier technically. I think he will for sure live because 1, I put Captain America on the other side, and 2, Sebastian Stan has a ridiculous 9-picture deal with MCU. That's too many to kill him at this point. He is probably going to fill the suit after Steve Rogers is out of it. I hope they build that up better because he's not one of my most beloved characters for sure in there, but I think he's the most likely candidate of 2 who could fill in for Captain America at some point after his death, which I have predicted. Also as a toss-up, I put Falcon because I think he could fill in for Captain America in the future when that position is vacated. He's also fairly new and very likable. So I don't see him being killed, but I don't know if he's important enough yet. So I would say high toss-up or low toss-up, low risk toss-up. Scarlet Witch. Okay, well, I'll get to the reasons why I think she is low risk, some of them at least. We've only just met Wanda. Her brother's gone. She is probably not going to get a solo movie, but she needs to stick around for a while more for us to get to love her. She's very powerful, and we don't have enough female Avengers, so I would not count on them killing her off. I think she's probably safe. On another opposite note, Vision is for sure dead. And here's why. He has one of the stones embedded in his head. They show it in the trailer. There's some kind of weapon prying it away from him, probably one of Thanos' children. I can't see a future in which he lives. There will be no Vision solo film. He is probably going to be the emotional stakes for Scarlet Witch going forward. And here we have the rest of the new additions, the Guardians of the Galaxy. And I want to say most of them will for sure live because they have a film future ahead of them. They're beloved. However, there can't be without sacrifice, I would say. I think at least one of them will be killed. Who though? The most expendable. So I would say either Mantis or Nebula. To make the most sense thematically, the story arc, I think it's got to be Nebula because that gives Gamora more reason to want to fight, to be infuriated to see her sister come around in the story arc and then be killed. Maybe heroically, maybe not heroically. I don't know. But I would put one of the Guardians as for sure dead. Ant-Man, and I want to say the Wasp, they have a film future. They're doing a film together. They will for sure live. Doctor Strange is also a sure bet. He is going to be the leader of the next phase. You cannot kill him at this point. Don't be worried about him. Be attached to him. Fall in love with him. SpiderMan is another sure bet because they spent so much money on him. It would be so stupid to kill him in this movie without giving him some more solo films. Also, you don't have Miles Morales lined up. That would just be a dumb move. They're not gonna do it. On that note, this is like, we're in the sure bet section because there's no way Black Panther can be killed at this point. They've just introduced him. He has a movie coming out that is sure to get a sequel. It looks so good based on the trailer. Don't worry about him. T'Challa is all good. That's what I think. This is all based on what I know and what I think about the comics, about the movies. What do you think? Did I miss the point on a couple of these or did I nail it? I love being complimented, but you don't have to do that. Please let us know on our Twitter and our Facebook.